I also forgot to mention how Kim came onto the show as somebody's mistress. Like, we don't have that on the show anymore. Like, nowadays, everybody wants to come on the show single or married or whatever. Like, that's all boring. Like, what happened to the mistresses, the side chicks, the side pieces? Like, I want to see that.
15 minutes earlier.
So I thought with this season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta officially being over, why not rank every single housewife that's been on this show from season 1 all the way up to now, season 15. And surprisingly, there's only been 17 housewives all together, not including some of the thirsty friends who swear they're gonna be holding a peach and end up holding nothing but their hopes and dreams. Let's give a moment of silence to those thirsty friends. Well, that's enough. So I made a chart and I'm gonna put it right here, and it's divided into 5 different categories. Each of those categories is named after something iconic, a certain saying that a certain housewife said over the years. The lowest category is labeled "Nothing Was There," a quote from NeNe when Andy asked her, "What do you think about Chateau Sheree?" Back when Sheree was building her house 60 years ago. NeNe said, "Nothing was there." This category represents all the housewives who, honestly, if you took them off the show, we would never even notice that they were even a cast member to begin with. They were just kind of there. They made no type of impact. And if they did make some type of impact, it wasn't memorable enough to rank them higher. The next category is labeled "White Refrigerator." Another quote from NeNe when she walked into Kenya's apartment. She was looking around in disgust like, "Ooh, Velvet, show me around. Ooh, what is this? Ooh, not a white refrigerator. Kenya, put your shoes on. Let's go find you a home." And I'm pretty sure that we've all had a white refrigerator at one point or another, or currently have one. And a white refrigerator is there to do its job, right? The basic job, right? We all need one. It's just there to do the bare minimum. Similar to the housewives who go in this category, they come onto the show, but they just give us the bare minimum, the basics, when it could be so much better. You know, they could be a steel refrigerator, but instead they want to be a white refrigerator. The third category is labeled, "Now this you're on point with." This quote comes from Phaedra when she told Demetria's stylist, "Oh, I actually like this outfit that you put her in. Now this you're on point with." Basically saying that he really didn't know how to style her the whole entire season up to that point, and he took offense to it. Now this category, this is where we kind of get the ball going. Like, okay, I see the potential in this future housewife, you know, maybe give her another season or 2, and I think we might see star potential, but they didn't really just make it just yet. The fourth category is labeled "Gone with the Wind, Fabulous." And this comes from Kenya when she got into it with Porsha. This category represents all the housewives who make an impact on the show, whether good, bad, or indifferent, no matter how big or small. They have a significant part on the show that without them, something will feel missing, even slightly off, and they're slowly on their way to icon status. Last category is labeled "Bitch, I'm Worldwide," and this comes from when Marlo told Candy that she's only known locally, and Candy had to correct her and tell her, "Bitch, I'm worldwide." Now, this category is the best of the best. You already reached iconic status. Everybody knows you. Everybody either loves you or hates you or both or somewhere in the middle. You've given us some of the best moments and storylines, and your impact on the show is noticeable. You are memorable. With that being said, this is my personal ranking, and we're going to start off with Claudia Jordan. Even though she was a one-season wonder, she still made her mark on this show, and she's still memorable to this very day because she is still talked about because of her argument with NeNe in Puerto Rico, and she's one of the very few people on this show in the last 15 years that actually managed to take on NeNe and backed her into a wall. NeNe even admitted that recently on her interview with Carlos King that yes, Claudia did challenge her, and she actually went up for Claudia and wanted her to come back the following season. I still remember watching that argument for the first time and seeing NeNe get completely chewed up by Claudia, especially when she told her, "Oh, I'm a puppet master on these jobs." Which ones? The ones that got canceled? I know that must have stung NeNe down to the core, and that's probably what had her spiraling out of control that entire argument. So for that alone, Claudia, you're gonna go under. Now this, you're on point with, because I feel like they cast it correctly with her. She was not afraid to take on NeNe, and if she would have came back for another season or 2, I feel like Claudia would have had a bigger impact on this show. Next, we have kind of like a 2-for-1 special with Cynthia Bailey and her ex-husband, Peter Centerpeach Thomas. I can look back now at her run on this show and actually appreciate it for what it is. You know, back then, maybe I would say, "Oh, it's boring. She's not really giving us much." But now looking back at it, she actually gave us a lot. You know, yes, she wasn't the most in-your-face person. And once she got out of NeNe's ass, you know, we started seeing more sides of her, especially that one season where she got into it with Porsha and she kicked her in the pussy. I am still shocked that Cynthia Bailey, of all people, got into a physical fight on this show. And along with her ex-husband, Peter, he was always in the mix as well, or at least he dragged her into the mix, or into some drama, or into some mess, because he always wanted to hold a peach. And he got into it with NeNe as well as with the other husbands. And let's not forget Pillow Talk. She has shown us every single aspect of her life, including like 500 divorces on the show. So for that alone, I was gonna put her in Gone with the Wind Fabulous, but I feel like she deserves Bitch on Worldwide. So then we have Phaedra, the Southern Belle, and she was a very interesting person when she came onto the show. Everything seemed squeaky clean with her and Apollo. She was this classy woman, oh, well, me and Apollo, we like going on the beach and we like having nice walks and drinking coffee and bread and we like having a good time. And then slowly but surely, we started seeing the cracks within their marriage and within her as a person as well. We found out that she's a liar, especially that one episode where they kept asking her how far along in her pregnancy is she? And she was just like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm ready for this baby to come out of me. I think I'm like 2 months, 6 months pregnant. Like right then and there, we knew she was a liar, and it only got worse. But she did have her good moments. She had the best confessionals during her time. She was hilarious without doing too much. Even at the reunion, she always had good moments. It's just unfortunate that her lies went from ha ha he to, ooh, wait a minute, you're doing way too much. This is extreme lying. Now at this point with the whole Candy situation, Phaedra, she tainted her entire image on this show. And it's just unfortunate because she was a fun person to watch on TV, especially her relationship with Candy. But, we can't neglect her impact on the show. So with that being said, she's gonna have to be up there with Bitch on Worldwide. Next, we have Kim Fields. And honestly, besides the issue that Kenya had against her, I don't remember a thing about Kim and her one and only season that she was on. And I'm pretty sure that she had no idea, she had no clue what she was getting herself into when signing up to be on the Real Housewives. Like, she had never watched a single episode or season prior to her own season. I'm pretty sure that's how it played out. Because in every single scene, every single group scene, she always looked uncomfortable or distant. She didn't really want to participate. And then Kenya didn't make it any better. That one scene where Kenya kept picking at her, and then she grabbed her chair and she tried to pick her up. Like, that was one of Kenya's lowest moments on this show in general, especially when they were all, most of them at least, were being homophobic to her husband. Even though she had an impressive resume, this show was not a good match for her. So for that, she's gonna have to be the first on Nothing Was There. Then we have Shamari Devoe, and she's another one who left the show way too soon. I personally saw so much potential in her. She was so much fun. She had good energy. She interacted with everybody. She didn't let anybody talk to her any type of way, and she held her own. And unfortunately, she was also another one season wonder because I believe she didn't like her portrayal as being a drunk, and that's what they were going to continue for her following season. So Bravo really missed the ball with her because I feel like she reminded me of another version of Porsha, and she's also a singer, so she could have gave Candy some competition. Or imagine if they had some type of issue on the show, they both would have wrote songs towards each other and they could have performed it at the reunion like, oh yeah, this is a diss track towards Candy. Like, the possibilities were there, but for that, I'll put her down as, now this you're on point with because she has so much potential. Next up, we have Miss Jogger Set herself, She by Sheree. And even though people clown her now, and she sometimes, most of the times, embarrasses herself now on the show, there was a point in time, a long
15 minutes later.
Long time ago that she used to be a force on this show, but I'm not sure at what point she became everybody's joke. To me, she'll always be iconic. She'll always be hilarious. She is funny and fun. I mean, look at her confessionals. And I feel like it's because she's delusional. I feel like she kind of lies to herself in many different situations. And yeah, She by Sheree may not have taken off the way she thought it could. Or, Chateau Sheree took like 50 years to build. But, baby steps. Everybody has their own ways. And just because Sheree's takes like, 2 centuries, it doesn't make her any less. She has some of the most unforgettable moments on this show, from her argument with the party planner, her issue with NeNe at the reunion, season 3, season 4, where she kept telling her, oh, don't make that face. And let's not forget, joggers, it's spring, summer. We're still quoting that. So for that, Sheree, you're gonna go under Bitch on Worldwide. As for your She by Sheree line, That goes under Nothing Was There. Next, we have Eva, who I believe was on the show for maybe 2 or 3 seasons. And similar to Kim Fields, I don't remember a thing about Eva's impact on this show, besides her argument with Marlo on the bus and her getting chewed up at the virtual reunion by everybody, including Porsha, who said that her titties were social distancing. But other than that, I don't remember a thing about her. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to go underneath White Refrigerator because you were there and I remember like little pieces here and there, but not enough for me to have a whole recollection of you. So Drew Sidora is up next, and even though she's fairly new to the Housewives universe, I feel like she's doing a somewhat okay job. And I do say that very loosely because this past season, where her and Ralph and the whole divorce, I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna root for Drew. And even though, yeah, I was rooting for her, at the same time, I'm looking at her like, wait a minute, some of the things that you're saying, you're contradicting yourself, you sound like a liar, what's going on here? And it's not painting her out to be in the best picture. So I'm not sure, Drew. If you do come back for next season, or whoever they bring back for the season 16, I don't know, we're gonna have to see the real side of you or whatever and stop lying because it's ridiculous. Your husband's gaslighting you, but you're gaslighting us. What did we do to you? And her song, Already Know, maybe that swayed my opinion as well because she was this close to being with Eva on White Refrigerator. But you know what? I think I'm gonna put her on Now This, you're somewhat on point with. Just a little bit, Drew. I may be small. Oh. For that tagline alone, Kandi should be up there on Bitch I'm Worldwide. I mean, she did make the category, but let me be petty and not give it to her. But Kandi, I mean, what can we say? Kandi has been an icon even before she's joined this show. She has been very, very upfront about her whole entire life. She showed us the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, everything in between. And I feel like that's probably why the audience finds her boring now, because we've seen her go through every single thing. The last thing, and I don't want this to happen to her, but the last thing that we could see from her is her getting a divorce from Todd. That's the only way that the audience is unfortunately going to look at Kandi and be like, oh, you know what? She deserves a peach for next season. That's the only way they see it, unfortunately. But that being said, of course, she's gonna go up there with Bitch I'm Worldwide. Now we're on to Kim Zodiak. And even though now, whenever her name is mentioned, we're always like, ugh, what now? What's going on between her and Croy? We all forget that at some point, she had a very short, iconic run on this show from season 1 to maybe 3, and that was it. She was good on this show. Her and NeNe, I love their friendship together. It was good when it was good. When it was bad, it was really, really bad. And Kim, she held her own with NeNe at sometimes and with Sheree. We all remember the hair twirl that Sheree did on her wig. It wasn't until she met Croy where everything kind of just, it went down the toilet for her. I feel like that man he kind of ruined her in a way, or she ruined herself, to be honest. And every time we hear her name now, it's always like, Kim, what do you want from us? Leave us alone. We don't want to be a part of this. She's like that toxic ex that you blocked their number 3-5 years ago, and they still manage to still text your new number now, even though they're blocked. And to me, to this very day, I have never ever watched an episode or a preview, a commercial, a trailer, nothing of Kim's Tardy with the Party TV show. I cannot believe that she actually got her own spinoff show for 8 seasons. What is there to see? But with that being said, feelings aside for Kim, she unfortunately is going to have to go to Gone with the Wind Fabulous because, again, she had her iconic moments at the start of this whole show. I also forgot to mention how Kim came onto the show as somebody's mistress. We don't have that on the show anymore. Nowadays, everybody wants to come on the show single or married or whatever. That's all boring. What happened to the mistresses, the side chicks, the side pieces? I want to see that. And Kim had no shame. Next, we have Lisa Wu, and even though her time on the show wasn't as long as well, I feel like she left some type of mark on this show to some capacity, right? I mean, I remember her chaotic energy. She was always at a 10. Even when we saw her recently on season 15 at Sheree's dinner, she was still at a 10. I think she was drunk. Now that I think about it, what do I remember about her? Scratch that, never mind. I don't think that she's gonna go up there with, now this you're on point with. I think you're gonna go down there with Eva and White Refrigerator section because I don't remember anything about her either. Oops. Sanya Richards is another one who's new to the Housewives universe. Her first season, it wasn't the best because she kept dragging out this whole issue with her and Drew nonstop the whole season. Her second season that just ended, it wasn't the best either. I mean, she was there. It was interesting seeing the dynamic between her, her husband, her family, and her sister, but it still didn't give me that oof. You know, it was just kind of like, oof. You know, but I do like her, though. I do genuinely like her, but I just don't think that, you know, this show specifically is for her, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if she comes back, maybe third time's what is it? Third time's a strike or something? Whatever the quote says. I don't know. Maybe. But as of now, Sanya, you're going to have to go down there to the refrigerator section with Eva and Lisa Wu, okay? Then we have Porsha Williams, and what hasn't she done on this show? I mean, she's gone through a divorce, she's taken somebody's man, she fucked a stripper, allegedly, she whooped a couple of bitches' ass on this show, she pulled Kenya by the hair at the reunion, she got pregnant. I mean, she's done it all. And it is so crazy. If you rewatch the season that she came on, season 5, when she was married to Cordell versus how she is now, it's a whole different person. I mean, of course, you're going to evolve over time, but it's just crazy how Cordell was really holding her back. I mean, she would tell everybody, oh, I can't go to the strip club. I'm a Christian woman. Cordell wouldn't want me to go there. And now look at her now. She's shaking ass 24/7. And let's not forget her little speech at the reunion, season 5. I'm not perfect. Cordell's not perfect either, but I'm still his wife and he's still my husband and we're still trying to make this work. And even though she had her moments here and there, I would still put her up there with bitch I'm worldwide. Like, who doesn't love Porsha? Then we have Deshaun Snow. Next up, we have Marlo, and it's hard to judge her as a housewife because technically she's been on the show for like 10 years, but she's only had the title of a housewife for 2 seasons. But Marlo has always been one of my favorites. I know people cannot stand the woman. They do not like her, especially after these last 2 seasons. But I love Marlo. I think she is so hilarious. She is so funny. I mean, she's delusional, and I feel like she has the contributions to being a good housewife in the future if they allow her to. But I just feel like people are just not going to allow it. They want her off the show, and it's just like she makes for a fun show. She is fun. She brings the fashions. She also brings the low blows. I mean, she apologizes for it, but then she does it again. But at least she tries, you know? I mean, and it sucks that they only gave her a peach because they were desperate for somebody. They couldn't find anybody last minute because everybody was leaving the show, so they gave it to Marlo. That's the only reason she has a peach now. And even though part of me wants to put her in the bitch I'm worldwide section, she's gonna have to go to Gone with the Wind Fabulous for now. And then we'll see as time goes on if she goes up higher in the ranking. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Kenya Moore hair care. Next up, we have Kenya Moore. And of course, I don't even have to say much. She's gonna go up there on Bitch I'm Worldwide. I mean, like I said before, she came onto the show season 5 like a damn tornado on high heels, and she spun this whole show around. I mean, I was so fascinated with Kenya when she first came on. I was like in love with her because I love the chaotic energy that she came on. You know, I always personally root for the villains, and that's what she came onto the show. Whether she likes it or not, that's what she came off as. Yeah, she was a villain for a majority of her time on the show, but we also got to see her softer side. We got to see her, you know, cry, her emotions, her relationship that doesn't exist with her mom. We got to see different aspects of Kenya. So of course, that villain label will always be there attached to her, but at least we got to see, you know, different sides to her. And I feel like there's so much potential with her hair salon, similar to how Candy has Candy and the Gang, Lisa Vanderpump has Pump Rules. Kenya could have something similar with her hair salon, and the employees, like, I'm pretty sure they could be just as messy as both the other shows. I just feel like there's something there that they could do with Kenya if the time is right, or if they want to phase her off the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but loop. And lastly, we have the queen of the Real Housewives, not just Atlanta, but just the Real Housewives in general. We have NeNe Leakes herself. And of course, she's gonna go up there on Bitch I'm Worldwide because I'm pretty sure that people really do know who she is worldwide. There is no way that, you know, you could be across the other country and not know who she is or come across one of her gifs, one of her sayings, one of her memes. You know, it's just all over the internet. There's just no way that you could escape NeNe on a daily basis unless you like literally just turn off the internet. NeNe has always been a moment since episode 1, season 1 of the show, and nobody could take that away from her. Even though she has some rocky moments somewhere in the middle, even towards the end, even now actually, you know, nobody could take away her impact and what she's done for reality TV, or Bravo, or, you know, the Bravo universe, the Real Housewives universe in general. You know, nobody could take that away from her. It does suck with the way things played out now, but nobody could take away her history on this show or on TV. So, with that being said, that has been my Real Housewives of Atlanta ranking of all 17 housewives. Let me know if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, what is your ranking, who is your top, who belongs in the refrigerator, who belongs in the nothing was there section. Let me all know, and let me know what city should I do next. Or maybe what I'll do is after a season is over, after I'm done reviewing it, then we could do something like this. Like the next one is Salt Lake City. We could do that one and, you know, so on. But, you know, let me know if you like this video idea down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.